Roses and Musketeers event was actually pretty good, and it introduced the character that we've all been kind of looking at for a little while. Even though Navia has been kind of our one-track mind, we did kind of want to see Chevreuse coming out. And of course, now Chevreuse is out as a part 2 of Genshin Impact's 4.3 update, so that means we get a build guide. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about how you should build your Chevreuse alongside what you need to ascend her to that sweet succulent level 90, and probably some stuff that you should probably think about doing with your Chevreuse. But before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And y'all, I'm always sponsored by the ever wonderful Gamer Subs right here. I actually got me some Blowhole Blast in here, and I actually carbonated it, as you probably just heard. Blowhole Blast, still one of my favorite flavors, even carbonated, so I definitely say check it out. But without any further delay and enough shilling from me, let's go ahead and get into today's video. As you can see, we have the Chevreuse profile page pulled up on Honey Hunter World. Big shout out to them, as I love using them for prepping my guides and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely love using them. But let's go and talk about this. Chevreuse, the Pyro Pole Arm user, basically a healer with some big boosties to overload teams. So let's go ahead and first talk about how you're going to ascend your Chevreuse. First things first, we're going to talk about these bad boys right here, as you see at the top. These wonderful Agnidus. I always mess up these, but the Agnidus Agat Silvers. You're gonna need the fragments, the chunks, and the gemstones as well. Now, of course, again, you gotta remember that Hoyoverse is going to go in rules of 3. So 3 of the silvers make a fragment, 3 of the fragments make a chunk, and 3 of the chunks make a gemstone. You're gonna find these off of many different pyro-based bosses, such as the Pyro Regisvine, the Pyro Hypostasis. Who else? There's a couple. Oh, the new Molten Crab Boy. That's a volcano, like that dude in Fontaine. That's what it is. Emperor of Fire and Iron Crafted. Now, of course, you could also get some of these materials from Signora as well, which is the world boss that you could fight once a week for, you know, those materials. But in all honesty, like, Signora is kind of like meh right now. I need to go back into world level or world boss grinding, where I would go against all the bosses every week. It's crazy. But there are a couple of options that you have to get these materials. Now, of course, the only thing that sucks is that your materials for the boss that you're gonna have to fight don't match with these. But first things first, before I do that, you're gonna need 1 silver, you're gonna need 9 fragments, 9 chunks, and 6 gemstones. So again, rules of 3, go into those. It's a good amount. You'll be fighting a lot of different bosses, especially since you're gonna need these, the Fontemmer Unihorns, and you get this from the boss battle, which is the the Millennial Pearl Seahorse, even though he's a unicorn. Weird, but it's an electro boss, which kind of sucks for everybody trying to get those pyro materials, because again, he's not going to drop those pyro materials. But you're going to need 46 in total of these Millennial Pearl horses, which if you only get 2 per run, which is the low, and if you're very unlucky, you're going to have to fight them upwards to 23 times. Now, of course, if you get 3 drops every time, or getting 3 per run, that's great, because it's going to be a lot less. So, but at most, you're going to be fighting him about 23 times. And then, of course, you're going to get you're going to need to get the Lumen Daus Bell. Now, these have been out since the first update with Fontaine, and you're going to need 168 of these. And these actually spawn in the overworld in patches of 3, so it makes it a little bit easier to grind, whether it's a shorter amount of time doing it or just a little bit more. So be ready for that. And then, of course, you're also going to need the gears, and we're going to go down here to kind of talk about them. You're going to need meshing gears, you're going to need mechanical spur gears, and of course, the artificed dynamic gears. Now, you're going to need 18 of the meshing gears, you're going to need 30 of the mechanical spur gears, and 36, that's right, 36 of these artificed dynamic gears. Now, of course, again, remember the rules of 3, because that's what's most important, because that's just Hoyoverse's shtick. I don't know why they do it every single time, right? All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about talents. Now, with Chevreuse, right? Chevreuse is going to be mainly a support in my personal opinion, especially with her healing coming from her skill. So my big things are you're going to want to level up the skill and then your burst to that level 10. So I wouldn't even say triple crowning, but if you do want to triple crown her because she's your favorite character, I'm not going to stop you. Here's what you're going to need to triple crown your Chevreuse. First things first, let's talk about the Teachings of Order. You get these every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday bundled up with every other one. So you have 3 days to do it. You're going to need Teachings of Order. You're going to need these Guides to Order, and of course the Philosophies of Order. Now again, if you're going to do the rules, or not rules, if you have to do the rules of 3. But if you're going to triple crown, you're going to need what looks to be 9 of the Teachings of Order. You're going to need 63 of the Guides to Order and 114 of the Philosophies of Order. And again, rules of 3, a teaching makes a guide, and a guide, or 3 guides make a order. So there's that. Of course, you're going to need more of the meshing gears and the mechanical gears. You're going to need a grand total of 18 more meshing gears, 66 more of the mechanical spur gears, and 93 more of the artifice dynamic gears. So add those to your ascensions if you're going for the triple crown. Now, also, we're going to need these, which are the lightless eyes of the Maelstrom. And these come from the Beluga boy, Narwhal boy. Yeah, the all-devouring Narwhal. You get this from the New World boss, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. And you're going to need 18 of these in total, which means that you're only going to fight them once and you get 2 each time. It's a very large grind. You'll be okay. Just go through it if you're wanting that triple crown. If you're wanting that triple crown. Of course, ask friends for help, because everybody likes going and fighting the Narwhal, right? Right? Right. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's what you're gonna need for the triple crown. And I know it's a lot right now, but you'll get it. Trust me on that. Now let's go ahead and talk about my Chevreuse and how I built my Chevreuse, or just really some stuff that you need to look at for Chevreuse. Now, of course, the main stats that you're wanting to focus with Chevreuse is going to be ER percentage and your HP percentage. Those are the 2. Now, if you want to go a little bit with crit rate and crit damage, as you saw with mine, it does help a little bit, but it's not something that you absolutely need for Chevreuse. That's not our main goal. Your main goal with Chevreuse is getting just about like 35 to 40k in regards to HP, and that's going to be the focus. Plus ER gets your, burst up and that's always going to work. And of course, EM is always a plus. I didn't really go for EM on mine, which kind of sucks. And I would honestly say if you're going for a support, the EM is probably going to take precedence over your crits. So that's where I kind of messed up on mine. That would be the only thing that I would do to probably make mine a little bit better. Now, of course, let's go ahead and talk about the weapons, right? So if you want to go a DPS sub DPS support type of Chevreuse, which to me is kind of weird, like I can't do that. You could go Staff of Homie. Staff of Homie's a good choice. HP increased by 20%, which really works because of the fact that, again, you're increasing HP, which Chevreuse heals off of her HP, so that's good. Additionally, provides an attack bonus based on 0.8 of the wielder's max HP. When the wielder's HP is less than 50%, this attack bonus is increased by an additional 1% of max HP. Now, of course, I could be wrong. I just look at Chevreuse's kit and I'm like, I don't really want to build her as a sub DPS. And there's nothing wrong with building her that way. It's just how I chose. Now, the weapon that I chose for her as a support character is the Rightful Reward. One, it's a free-to-play weapon that you could get so long as you buy it from the blacksmith over in Fontaine. Now, this one is an HP percentage like main stat, so that's what really helped me with getting my 40,000 HP. Now, tip of the spear, when the wielder is healed, it restores 10 energy, which is perfect. Not only are you healing, but you're gaining that energy back for Chevreuse to activate that burst and consistently keep that rotation going. This effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. It can occur when the character is not on the field, which is a plus. And yeah, I dig it. So, but the only thing that sucks is that it's only when Chevreuse is healed, so it's not when the others are healed. Now, of course, you could always go with something like Favonius Lance if you want to get that extra energy recharge. This was going to be my second option for a support character. Or you could even go as far as Black Tassel, and that's, of course, because of the main stat HP, and that's really it, because Black Tassel doesn't really help you out with anything else. Now, of course, if you want another 5-star, I think it's Staff of Scarlet Sands. I've been seeing some people use, but I don't have that, so I was like, meh, I don't care. But other than that, that's really all I could say about weapons. So if you're going for that DPS, go for the Staff of Homie, which is weird because like my fully ascended one lights up. That's cool. I like that they do that stuff. Just a little bit of an extra thing. But if you're going for a support, I'd say Rightful Reward is a great option because it is free to play, followed by Favonius Lance. Now let's talk about artifact sets, okay? For me personally, I chose a 2-piece Ocean Hue, 2-piece Tenacity. And the reason why I went for that is because you're getting that 20, or not 20%. Yeah, it is 20%. 20% HP bonus, or HP percentage bonus. Plus you're getting a healing bonus of 15%. That's because I chose to go for a support one. Now, of course, I saw one and I can't remember for the life of me, the name of that artifact set. I'm gonna see if I can find it really quick, but this was for like a DPS build of it. I can actually pull it up right here. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Varukasha's Glow. And the reason being that people went with the 2-piece of Varukasha's Glow is like the HP 20%. So if you go for a 2-piece with that and Tenacity, you're maxing out your HP, and that goes with, you know, what's going on with Staff of Homie or Staff of Homa. I keep saying Homie because that's what I like, but it makes sense to do the 2-piece Tenacity, 2-piece Varukasha to get the 40% well, 20 and then 20 on top of that, or however it's calculated. Or your max HP, then you're getting that 0.8, or in my case with the Staff of Homa being a Refinement 2, getting that 1.2% extra attack with however high your, you know, HP is. So it made sense to do a 2-piece for that, but I chose to go for more healing base. That's my goal. That's the best healing, I would say, is what you want to do. Now, of course, you could always go with, you know, the tried and true, which is 4-piece Noblesse Oblige. Now, of course, the reason why is because elemental burst damage plus 20%, and then using an elemental burst increases all party members' attack by 20% for 12 seconds. Now, of course, this works well if your Chevreuse is in the back, being the healer support. So there you go. Or if you want to go for a full out DPS or pyro DPS, you go the 4-piece Crimson Witch to get that pyro damage bonus. I wouldn't suggest it. Now, of course, when you're going for your stats, I say for the Sands, you want to go either HP or ER. Now, I went with an HP percentage one because at the time I was like, okay, I got 10% ER on this one, and I could probably get a better off piece for mine, but this is the one I went with because I thought it would work really, really well. And of course, you also want go for your goblet. I would say HP percentage because again, you want to bump up that HP percentage. Now, if you're going for a 4-piece Crimson Witch, go for the pyro damage bonus, of course. But if you're going for, you know, a support character, HP percentage is the way to go. Followed by, of course, in the circlet, you can either go HP percentage or you could go healing bonus, or if you're going the 4-piece Crimson Witch, you could always go with crit rate or crit damage. Now, for my build, my main focuses were ER and HP percentage. Again, made perfect sense to me. You could always go crit rate, crit damage if you're going for DPS. However, I still say that ER and HP percentage take precedence over crit rate and crit damage, followed by EM if you want to be a little schnazzy, you know, a little bit of schnazzy right there. Excuse me, sorry. I don't have any constellations, and you'll see why in the video coming out later this week. But talents, I went with a 277 just to kind of give myself the boost in the skill and the burst. Her skill, Chevreuse quickly shoulders her musket and fires at her opponents, dealing AoE pyro damage. For a short duration after Chevreuse fires a shot, she will continually restore HP to the active character on the field. The amount healed is based on her max HP. Hold to fire in a different fashion. And then, of course, if you go into aiming mode, it locks onto a target in her sights and fires a precise interdiction shot. If Chevreuse has an overcharged ball, then she will fire the overcharged ball instead, dealing greater pyro damage in a larger area. Chevreuse gains one overcharged ball every time one nearby character in the party triggers an overload reaction and can have up to one overcharged ball at a time. So it's exactly like how Navia gets, you know, the crystallization reactions and gets those little shield things to bump up her damage on her skill. Now, I don't know why I did that, but now we go on to the burst. Chevreuse fires an explosive grenade at opponents with her musket, dealing AoE pyro damage. After the projectile hits, it will split into many secondary explosive shells. The secondary explosive shells will burst after a short interval, dealing pyro damage to nearby opponents. Now, of course, this is really to start getting more pyro synergy with your electro units, because again, Chevreuse is going to capitalize on overload, and here's why. The first ascension passive, Vanguard's coordinated tactics. When all party members are pyro and electro characters, and there's at least one pyro and one electro each in the party, Chevreuse grants coordinated tactics to nearby party members. After a character triggers the overload reaction, the pyro and electro resistance of the opponents affected by this overload reaction will be decreased by 40% for 6 seconds. The coordinated tactics effect will be removed when the elemental types of the characters in the party do not meet the basic requirements for the passive talent. So again, to get your full experience with Chevreuse, she's gonna be only an overload. And again, I like the fact that they're doing something like this because one, it makes you use certain teams. Now with Chevreuse, she's a 4-star. She's very easy to get in regards to pulling her on banners for the most part, unless you get really, really unlucky. So pulling her makes you think, wow, maybe I should build her and put in the overload reactions. We've seen this already with Electro and Dendro, so I'm really glad to see that we're starting to move towards a different type of meta. Now, of course, we go into the second Ascension passive. After Chevreuse fires an overcharged ball using short-range rapid indiction fire, nearby Pyro and Electro characters in the party gain 1% increased attack for every 1,000 max HP Chevreuse has for 30 seconds. Attack can be increased by up to 40% in this way, which means, and this is exactly why I was saying around 35 to 40,000 HP, is because 40,000 HP is going to give the max 40% extra attack on your characters. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the team I'm running here. Now, I honestly say that the better team for this is Yoimiya. Chevreuse, stop talking for a second. But the main team that I would say to use is Yoimiya, Raiden Shogun, Fischl, and Chevreuse, or you could even swap Fischl with Himeko. But I wanted to try this team, and the reason being is because I wanted to get the little attack boost with Kujosara to boost up the attack more, and Himeko I absolutely love as an off-field DPS, and of course Hu Tao, it's Hu Tao. Now, the only thing that's going to suck with Hu Tao is that she's low on HP, but Chevreuse is going to help with that skill, so we're going to try it out with Masanori. Now, again, this isn't going to be something to where I always pick Masanori. Sometimes I'll actually want to do Spiral Abyss, but I don't want to do Spiral Abyss with Chevreuse right now because I'm still kind of playtesting her a little bit more. Plus, I do casual build, so. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and set this up really quick. Let's get the attack going. And then let's go. Now, as you can see, I'm doing a decent amount on there. But again, my Hu Tao was pretty stacked as it is. But there's a reason why I like doing that, is because it just works so well. And of course, that charge shot does a little bit right there. I gain energy. We're gonna go ahead and activate that. Oh, gosh darn it. He dodged. And I'm kind of just playing with my food at this point, but I could have ended him right away. But let's go ahead. Let's get the skill back up again. Look at that. That was not bad. But as you can see, Chevreuse is really helping out. And I came out of that positive. Not just because of the fact that I'm really able to, like, kind of, you know, work my magic with this team. But Chevreuse's healing works really, really well with her. And the attack bonus that I was getting off of Kujosara really helped me out in the long run with that, or at least that's what it felt like. I could be wrong, and maybe I'm just literally doing a placebo effect with Kujosara. But it also helped with overload that I was getting Himeko to do her thing. Sorry, whenever she comes on stream and she starts to do the walk. Yes, thank you. But every time Himeko comes on screen and does her stuff, it makes me giddy. That's all I'm gonna say. But I still say that the best team to probably run with this is Yoimiya because of her skill, and then of course Raiden Shogun working with her in tandem. We're going to be kind of showcasing this in another video as well that's coming out tomorrow. But Chevreuse is good. I like Chevreuse and I like the meta that we're going towards in the game. So Chevreuse gets a full-blown thumbs up from me. She's really good. I enjoy her and I think that everybody else will as well. Now, of course, let me know in the comments down below how you built your Chevreuse. I would love to know how you guys did it because I do like actually hearing what other people go with. I've heard some crazy builds that actually do kind of work. We've seen physical Barbara before in the meta. Well, not really in the meta, but we've seen physical Barbara. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Genshin Impact video very, very soon. And thank you so much again for helping me reach my dreams of being a YouTube partner. We reached full partner and I'm super excited for that. So anyways, y'all, I love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Please take care and be safe.